Are you afraid of the dark?
Kind of, sort of.
And we are live, back for... Am I getting sound out there? Yes, I am getting sound out there. We are live and back for episode number, what is this, 7?
I don't know.
7.
I don't know. We're just here and now, and the past doesn't even matter, right? We're just here and now.
So, well, but now and the past and the future all exist simultaneously anyway, right? Because they're all illusions.
We're all multidimensional beings, right? We're all multidimensional beings, and anyways. So David, is he here?
Yes.
He's here with us. He's really, are you really here? You're really...
Oh, for crying out loud! It's okay. You guys go on. The camera froze up, so I'm gonna work on the camera. But for those out there in Facebook land, yes, I do know the camera. What the hell?
Oh dear, I don't know. Hey, Shannon. Hi, Shannon. Welcome. Oh, we wish you were here with us. That would be
Where's
amazing.
that noise coming from?
My phone, maybe?
Yeah, she's got sound coming from her phone.
Okay,
Sorry, guys.
Turn your sound down. There you go.
Okay.
There you go. Turn your sound down.
Okay. Is it off now? There.
Had me freaking out. I thought I had something jump.
Yeah, there's a time lag.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh goodness.
Okay. So yes. Sorry about that, everyone. It's
Okay, how do I shut it up?
Can you turn your sound down?
I don't know. I thought I did.
You can just turn your sound down right here. Your volume buttons.
Message from the dark.
Sorry, guys. I swear to
There,
God.
I think that's got it.
One of these
Should
times
have it
will
there.
actually. Okay, thank you.
You can say hasty lumbago to the sound.
See, I've got my phone. That way we can actually see the chat. That's why I have my phone on. Okay, now we're ready to go for real, right?
Yes, we are. We've been ready to go for real the whole time. So.
Hey, Luana's watching too. Hi, Luana. Okay, so let's get right down to the point here. So this is our amazing friend David Mitchell.
Hi.
Welcome
Thank
to
you,
our couch. I'm so happy you're on the couch and not on the phone.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. That just seems to be plaguing us with
See, if I fall on the couch, does that mean I have to talk about my mother?
Say that again.
If I'm on the couch, does that mean I have to talk about my mother?
No, I'll give you a pass
okay.
this time. I'll give you a pass this time. Okay, so let's talk about...
So tell me, Dave, how does that make you feel?
Yeah, there you go.
All feelings are illusions. Time and space are illusions.
Oh, hey, Nicole said the video is still frozen.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I'm working on that. I got distracted by the
echo.
The audio thing. So.
Oh my goodness! I swear, people people in Facebook land, I swear that one of these times we'll have our shit together when it starts, and we won't have to take the first 10 minutes of getting it all going.
Now it's going.
So, where do you want to start?
Where do you want to start? Tell us about yourself.
Well, let's see. I'm a Leo, Cancer.
You're a Leo. You're a Sun, Leo, and then a Moon, Cancer, and a Rising Cancer. Oh Lord!
Wow.
Oh Lord!
I was just being silly.
Oh my God! It wasn't.
And I have to say it with a lisp so it gets right, Actually, I started out more on the paranormal end of things than I did on the energy sharing, mystical side of things. Was working with a team out of Topeka and discovered I was a sensitive. And then they started asking me to place cameras because I always seemed to know where cameras needed to go. And it went from there, but then the lady that ran the team, I didn't mesh real well anymore. So it was time for me to depart the team.
Okay.
So I did.
That happens sometimes.
But I worked with Lena on that team and on a team afterward.
Okay.
And Lena kind of started going, well, you ought to be doing this, and you ought to be doing that. You know how Lena does.
Isn't it amazing?
Is great.
It's amazing how she just, everybody that meets her and she gives guidance and she's spot on.
Yep.
Every single one of the people that I've met that have known Lena, and I bet there's even people, we ran across one lady, remember that? We were having a conversation, and she said that, Lena was the reason that she decided to start doing readings, and she's like, Lena probably has no idea she's the reason I started doing this. And I'm like, you should reach out to her, you know? And she's like, I don't know if she'd remember me. I'm like, she'd remember.
Yeah.
That was really amazing, but I bet that happens a lot.
Well, then I started getting interested in energy.
Okay.
Next, I went to a store in Lenexa, downtown Lenexa, Kansas, called Crescent Springs. And the manager there, Kat Lyman, was teaching Reiki Sesshin classes. And so I went through them, went all the way through to master teacher, and then my wife Shannon went all the way through to master teacher also. And it's a little odd. Most people, they say, well, they feel the energy flowing, and they feel the energy do this, and they feel the energy do that. I don't feel the energy.
You didn't feel it.
I don't. But everybody in the class was going, oh, you've got so much energy flowing through. How do you do that? I don't know. I just do it.
Right.
And I finally figured out that it was all a matter of trust.
Okay.
Because like bowlers will tell you, trust is a must or your game is a bust.
Right.
And I've kind of taken that in with Reiki too. And it seemed to work. And then from there, I just went to every other woo-woo thing you can come across pretty much.
Woo-woo.
What else am I going to call it?
It makes me happy you said that, because when X-Files came back on, there was an episode when Mulder was tripping on the mushrooms.
Oh, yeah. I remember that one.
And in his dream, the chick that was getting all dominatrix on him was like, is this your woo-woo? And hitting him with the thing, and it was great. Oh, it was such a... That episode was called Babylon, by the way, and it was the 5th episode when they brought it back in 2016, and... Sorry. Go ahead.
Okay.
You just said woo-woo, and it's just... X-Files!
Well, then Shannon and I started doing Reiki together, and we had a business called Dear Heart Energy, and we vended at the Casey Meta physical fair for a while, and team sharing, and then she was reading Lenormand cards, and when she was reading, I would keep sharing, and if she wasn't reading, we'd team share. Worked out real nice.
Cool.
And then I came across, I got to hold it up, this book. And this book is called New Reiki Software for Divine Living. And I thought, I was a geek for my job. I worked in IT for 38 years.
Okay.
And I saw the word software in the title mixed with Reiki.
You're like,
went,
ding, ding, ding.
I got to check this out. And I started reading it, and I read chapter 3 in the book. That's the magic chapter, right?
Yeah,
that's where the magic happens.
You just got to get to chapter 3.
And after that, I thought, So, Shannon, come here. I want to try something. And she was brave.
Brave?
Well, that sounds nicer than stupid.
Hey,
In
we'll
letting
go
me
with
do
brave.
stuff, she was brave.
We'll go with brave.
And I have to give her props for letting me try stuff on her and for her being willing to be my guinea pig on a lot of stuff. I'm very grateful for that. I read chapter 3, which when you read it, you become attuned, and I read it out loud to her. And she got attuned when I read it out loud. And she feels the energy flow. And we started kind of messing around with it a little bit, and I really liked the fact that with this, for Reiki, I didn't have to know hand positions, didn't have to know symbols.
Well,
I didn't have to know anything special at all. It was all done with intention.
yeah. Yep. All about up here.
Intention is everything.
Intention is everything. You have to be very specific with your intention.
This is true.
Very specific.
So we thought we would try using this in our business when we were team sharing at the fairs.
Okay.
And we tried using this, and it worked better than what we had done before. We said, okay,
awesome.
we're going to this exclusively.
That's awesome.
This is what we're doing from now on. Well, that would have been around 2013 that first started, in 2014 that we used it at the fair. The book came out in 2013. And then he came out with a sequel, this one, Mystic Reiki, in 2017.
Okay.
So it's the new one.
That's the newer one.
And it really simplifies it even further. So I got to thinking, do most people want to make money with Reiki?
I would hope not.
No, most people want to help themselves and help their friends and help
Exactly. I would
family
hope
and that
not.
kind of thing. But for a typical Reiki class, to go all the way through to master teacher, and yeah, you get a certificate and that's cool, but you're going to spend probably close to $1,000 to go through all of it.
Oh, yeah.
And you can actually learn just as much and do just as much with these books and spend less than $30 for the two together.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that will give people what they need to be able to help their friends and their family and themselves. The first book briefly introduced the concept of Reiki holograms.
Well, you
Just began to.
well,
The second book there's a whole chapter on Reiki holograms and Reiki portals and the sphere of divine grace and all of these things.
so I have to say, talking about the Reiki holograms. Okay, so
Okay.
we're Jeremiah. He was doing readings at this like a little mini psychic fair this past weekend, and I went there. You know, I took Sophie, our little toddler, to see him or whatever, and Dave came down, and it just so happened I was there the same time Dave was there, and he was like, "Are your shoulders bothering you?" And I was like, "Actually, yeah, they are." And he's like, "Hold on a minute, okay." And he did something, and he was like, "I just created a Reiki hologram." And I'm like, what? Okay. Well, then a little bit later, he came up to me. He's like, are your shoulders, do they still hurt? And I'm like, actually, I haven't noticed anything. So, no, I guess they don't hurt as bad. And so that hologram that you set the intention with that hologram, and it worked.
Yeah.
It worked. And then you did the same thing with Jeremiah. Did it help? Did it make a difference for you?
Yes, it did. It made a huge difference.
It's just amazing to me that you don't even touch the person and you can do this.
Right. Well, you don't have to touch.
Oh man, and the whole
the whole thing, people always think of Reiki as being a flow
for crying out loud.
of energy.
We need a studio just made of solid sugar light and selenite.
What is happening now?
Y'all's camera keeps freezing up.
Seriously?
Yeah, seriously.
Does that have anything to do with the Wi-Fi?
No.
Did we turn it off? Okay.
This is something. This has not happened before.
Man, Dave.
Okay, Nicole, the title of that second book is Psychic Reiki.
You know what we'll do? We will put a link on your page, like a link from our page to your page, and they can go to your page and put these on there. And they can find
do that
from your page.
Yeah.
That's what we'll do.
The author's name is Brett Bevell. Brett Bevell works with the Omega Institute in New York State. He has been a Usui Reiki master for over 25 years and has attuned over 2,000 people. And this was downloaded to him by his guides, and he was told he needed to bring it forth to the world. Mm-hmm. So what it comes down to is, what am I using it for now? Well, I help friends, I help myself, I help my family. But the other thing I'm using it for is healing the land.
That is so amazing that you do that. You should elaborate on that, because that's so awesome.
Well, just easy way to think of it, we have a rail trail that runs past our house. Mm-hmm. Abandoned railroad that's been turned into a trail, the Sunflower Trail.
Okay.
And the block we live in, with blocks a mile, mm-hmm. You would walk along there and it felt, to use the technical term, it felt oogie.
Oh.
You would look over your shoulder and just kind of, and that kind of thing. And I started sharing Reiki with the land, and I was very specific in how I set my intention. When I left the house, said I invite my Reiki crystal to share healing and restorative energy with everything and everyone willing to accept it within a half a mile of where I'm walking for the entire duration of my walk. So I covered specifically what it was supposed to do, where it was supposed to work, how long it was supposed to work for. Didn't leave any holes. Now, if you walk that mile of trail, it feels warm and inviting and comfortable.
You're not looking over your shoulder like, oh God,
not
what's
at
back there?
all. So I'm gradually now doing it from home instead of when I walk, and I'm gradually making the circle that I cover bigger.
Okay.
I'm up to about 10 miles now.
Wow. Does it make you kind of think like, wow, the capability here, like, it's unlimited? Do you think that as an individual there is a limit on what you are capable of doing with Reiki, and how much you're able to send, and how far back and distance and in time and all that? Or do you think that like it just like there is no limit? Like, it's open-ended.
The limit is the limit of your imagination.
Okay.
I'm using this. I have been using this to heal my past lives, to heal my ancestral line. Those are mm-hmm. two different things.
Yeah.
A lot of people say, well, I can program it to do something in the future. Yeah, you can. But you can also send it back to the past to heal things that happened in the past, and then when it comes forward, boom, you get the benefit of it right away.
When the first time you were talking to me, you were like, you want me to blow your mind right now? And I'm like, yes. And Dave starts telling me about how you can send a treatment to your past self and your past traumas to heal, so you currently can heal through using Reiki. And I'm like, whoa, you can send it to your past, it's happening at the same time. We're multi-dimensional beings, right? So all these dimensions are happening at the same time simultaneously or whatever. And it's like, oh man, it just, when you said that, it really piqued my interest, because like with me, until this book right here, this is the book, because Dave gave me this book. Like, he'd been talking to me about this book. I need to get this book. I need to get this book. I need to become attuned. And I hadn't got it. Well, then this kind soul, he got it and gave it to me. Like, he bought it for me. And he bought Jeremiah one, too. So we both became, what, do you want the book? You want both of them?
Just the one.
Okay.
For now.
Anyways, so when it comes to Reiki, like I'd heard the term Reiki, but I didn't have a clue what it was, right? Like I'd heard it, and this was around the same time that I was still like, oh, this is new to me and everything, and I'm just like so curious about what is this guy talking about? What is all this, And when I read it and I became attuned, it was just like as I was reading the words on the page, it was like you could feel it happening.
So one of the things that I kind of want to do
I'm excited.
while we're here,
yes,
because I talked about a surprise in my posting. What I really would kind of like to do is anybody who is listening and watching right now who is willing, because you got to be willing, to get attuned to this, I am willing to do that to everyone watching and listening now.
Oh, let's do it.
Through this podcast. It can be done. I've done it over the radio already some time ago, and it worked.
Cool.
Oh, let's do it.
Very cool.
This is going to take about 4 or 5 minutes.
Hey, real quick.
Okay.
Before you do all of this, just in case there's somebody who starts watching this and has no clue about what Reiki is, will you explain?
Oh, well, I look at it like this. I go to quantum physics.
Okay.
And just plain physics for that matter too, but quantum physics because of quantum entanglement. Quantum physics states that everything is energy. That energy is always in motion.
It never goes away.
And that energy is never lost. It just changes from one form to another, like potential to kinetic when a car runs into a tree. Well, if energy is always in motion, that means it's always flowing. So if those three things are true, and I think physics is right when it says it is, then wouldn't it make sense for somebody to be able to simply place themselves in the flow of the energy and redirect it a little bit? Mm-hmm. That's all Reiki does. Mm-hmm. It redirects the energy flow. And it's the universal energy. And some people say Reiki stands for divine energy.
Okay.
But another valid translation of the kanji symbols for it is universal energy. And I kind of prefer that over divine. Similar meanings, it's all semantics.
Tomatoes.
Yeah, well, potato, sweet potato.
Okay, that's better now. I like that better.
So that's kind of a quasi scientific explanation.
Okay.
Of what Reiki is. Now there are hundreds of forms of Reiki out there. The one that most people, if you just say Reiki, the one most people think of is Usui, USUI.
That's how you say it.
That was the last name of the guy who brought it forward.
Okay.
A Japanese man named Mikao Usui. And then there is Reiki Seishin, which is the one I was first attuned to. I am also attuned to Usui. And it's more of an Egyptian flavor. Patrick Ziegler stayed without permission overnight in the Great Pyramid in the King's Chamber, and the symbols were downloaded to him there.
Oh, wow. Okay.
But then there's Lavender Reiki and Lavender Flame Reiki and Reiki Tumo and New Usui and Golden Light Reiki and Lightarian Reiki, Lightarian Ray Reiki. I mean, there are hundreds of forms of it out there. This one is just kind of a generic because basically what we're dealing with is an energetic tool. That's what this crystal that I'm talking about is. It's an energetic tool.
Okay.
The technical full name of it is Mikao Usui's Reiki Crystal of Awakening.
Mikao Usui's Reiki Crystal of Awakening. That's a mouthful.
Say that fast 3 times. It's a mouthful, isn't it?
So it's the new Reiki software for the Divine Living, and it's Mikao Usui's Reiki Crystal of Awakening.
Right. So let's keep it real simple, and from this point on, we'll just call it my Reiki Crystal.
My Reiki Crystal.
And that, in the second book, that's what Brett Bevell decides to start calling it.
My Reiki
is my Reiki crystal. And I think that it works just as well, and it's a whole lot easier to say.
It's a whole lot easier to say, and it makes it feel like it's your Reiki crystal. Mm-hmm. Not just that you and I are connected and we're all connected and we're sitting here and all the energy is flowing and everything. Right. It literally gives you a feeling of like, it's mine. I get a piece of it, and I can do with it what I want.
So imagine a ball of energetic light that's sitting out in front of your heart chakra.
In case somebody doesn't know where your heart chakra is, it's right in front of
right in the center of your chest above your heart.
Okay.
And it is intelligent. And it is already attuned to every single form of Reiki in existence. So that when you want it to do something, you don't have to know what form of Reiki is going to be used. It doesn't matter. The crystal knows. The shadow knows. Who knows what evil lurks in the hearts and minds of man? No. The shadow do. It knows what's going to be the most appropriate form of Reiki to use for what it is you want to accomplish. And so it automatically goes out and uses that one. Okay, so there's what this thing is in a nutshell. So if we're ready,
oh yeah, I'm ready.
Let's go through this. Everybody just kind of relax, and
I'm gonna just right quick while you're doing this, because I've already been attuned. I'm going to switch the camera over to strictly you guys, and I'm going to go make sure no one's being murdered downstairs, because it kind of sounds like that on occasion. So
trying to ignore it.
I will be right back.
Okay.
You guys just truck on ahead. If the video freezes up, I apologize. I will fix it as soon as I get back.
Okay. Here we go, folks.
Let's do this.
This text I'm reading is sending you a divine and powerful new form of Reiki called Mikao Usui's Reiki Crystal of Awakening. As you hear this text, this new form of Reiki is being sent through these words. It is sending a Reiki healing transmission which will continue for as long as you are hearing this. Once you complete hearing this text, hearing it once through from start to finish, you will be fully empowered with Mikao Usui's Reiki Crystal of Awakening. Please know that this healing power does not come from me. This is an example of divine grace in energetic form. This is a gift from that which is pure love. This is a gift from that which is all. Even if you are someone who does not feel energy healing, please continue listening. What is happening now, as you hear, is what will happen when you yourself decide to empower others in this new form of Reiki healing. A small and yet infinite piece of Mikao Usui's Reiki Crystal of Awakening is moving out to you now. Imagine a small sun. Imagine that sun is made of Reiki light. Now imagine that small sun of Reiki light is shooting out like a solar flare and reaching into your heart. Once it touches your heart chakra, or the area a few inches in front of the middle of your chest, it is there developing like a photograph, creating an image of itself like a new sun made of Reiki light. And know that this sun of Reiki light radiating from the center of your chest is actually an energy crystal which can react to and be moved by your own thoughts. It is still developing and not yet fully formed, but it will be fully formed by the time you complete hearing this. Play with this divine crystal of Reiki light by imagining your thoughts moving down into it and giving it a command. As long as the command is for the highest good, the Reiki crystal will send Reiki as you have requested. Begin first by sending your thoughts into this Reiki crystal, which you can imagine is made out of pure white light, in the area a few inches in front of the middle of your chest, and ask this Reiki crystal to send you Reiki, asking either out loud by using your voice or by simply asking with your mind. Ask this Reiki crystal to now send Reiki to your entire nervous system for the next 5 minutes. Allow your being to be filled with this divine light, this gift this energetic form of divine grace. Know that Mikao Usui's Reiki Crystal of Awakening is almost fully formed now in your own energy system. That small piece of infinite Reiki light, which came from the infinite Reiki light embedded in what I'm reading, has crystallized with your own thought process. It will now move Reiki according to your own thoughts, as long as those thoughts are for the highest good. Breathe now and feel the Reiki crystal presence that was coming from these words to be fully downloaded into your own energy system. Ask for this Reiki crystal to send Reiki to your mind. Feel the Reiki as it flows to you out from the Reiki crystal in the center of your chest so that this light is bathing your thoughts. Know that you cannot do this incorrectly. There is no right or wrong way to do this. This is an energetic gift from the divine. And once you complete hearing this text, regardless of how well you follow the instructions, you'll be empowered to Mikao Usui's Reiki Crystal of Awakening simply by the act of hearing the full text. Take another breath, as the Reiki crystal in this text is now sending Reiki energy into your breath. Pull this energy into your lungs, and imagine that with each breath you're pulling more and more Reiki light into this new Reiki crystal that now exists a few inches in front of the center of your chest like a radiant ball of divine Reiki light. Know that you are now fully empowered to Mikao Usui's Reiki Crystal of Awakening. You can now send Reiki simply by asking the crystal to send it for you. Know that an intense level of Reiki can also now flow out of your hands, flowing directly from the Reiki crystal upon your intention through your hands into anything you touch. Also, if you are a Reiki novice, you now have a new Reiki energetic tool that is extremely powerful yet elegant to use. If you're one who has previous Reiki experience and perhaps are even a fully trained Reiki master, know that you now have a new Reiki tool which complements the Reiki skills you have learned in the past and which elevates them to an even higher level of ability. Give thanks in whatever form you wish to those who have given us the gift of Reiki at this time. Give thanks to the divine by whatever name you wish to use for the divine. Give thanks to the angels and spirits that oversee Reiki. Give thanks to Mikao Usui and all the Reiki teachers who came after him. You are now fully empowered to Mikao Usui's Reiki Crystal of Awakening. And know, regardless of your own reaction to hearing this, that you now have hardwired into your energetic system an energetic embodiment of divine grace in the form of Reiki. It is permanent. It can never be taken from you. It does not come from me. This gift is directly from the divine.
Whoa.
Welcome.
Whoa.
I think I may have just found a replacement for Samuel L. Jackson's voice narrating everything in my mind.
That's a compliment right there.
Okay. Now, everybody seems to take Reiki seriously.
You gotta have fun with it.
Play with it.
You have to have fun. It's like Play-Doh.
Try stuff.
It's like Play-Doh.
You play. One of the things that's in the book that is really cool is there are numbered treatments. And the intention has been set so firmly in the book that you can refer to the treatment by number.
That's amazing.
Just looking at number 1. Reiki treatment number 1. Mikao Usui's Reiki Crystal of Awakening is sending Reiki to your karmic body, using all Reiki lights designed to heal and release karmic debris and accelerate karmic cleansing.
Which number is that one?
Number 1.
Just have to take note of that from a personal
This treatment will last approximately 30 minutes and will end with Mikao Usui's Reiki Crystal of Awakening performing integration Reiki for the last 7 minutes of healing.
What's 32? Lena said 32.
32. Mikao Usui's Reiki Crystal of Awakening is sending you a Reiki Crystal Gem treatment to replicate an energy healing using crystals and gemstones.
Oh.
This treatment will run for 20 minutes and will end with Mikao Usui's Reiki Crystal of Awakening performing integration Reiki for the last 5 minutes of the healing. Now, how do you use that? How do you use number 1? You simply say to yourself, in your head or out loud, I invite my Reiki crystal to send me Reiki treatment number 1.
I'm going to do that.
That's
I
it.
invite my Reiki crystal to send treatment number 1 to me.
Now, there are a number of these, 19 and 20. 19 clears your ancestral lineage of all energetic obstacles.
Oh, wow.
20 is for bringing forgiveness into your ancestral lineage for all trespasses against others. And you can stack these. I would like my Reiki. I would invite my Reiki crystal to send me Reiki treatment number 19, followed by Reiki treatment number 20.
Wow. I think that the name of the book is so appropriate, especially when you can just sit there and you can say, I invite my Reiki crystal to perform number whatever treatment, followed by the next treatment, right? And so, what did she say?
And my heart chakra, thymus gland expanded.
Jessica said she was wondering if anybody else saw the infinity symbol in their third eye during the attunement.
I don't know. Now, the first time we did this workshop, and Shannon and I did this as a workshop at the fair, and we attuned everybody in the workshop. And one lady came up to us afterwards with a question. She said, can you create your own numbered treatments? I went, that's a really good question. I don't know, but I'll find out. I went home and I started messing around, and yes, you can. We came up, there are 88 treatments in the book. We came up with number 89, and I tell people you can create your own treatments. Start over 100. Start the numbering up above 100. 89 was the one that Shannon and I used when we were team sharing with people at the fair.
Okay.
And we started using that one and only that one from that point on. Mikao Usui's Reiki Crystal of Awakening is sending Reiki energy for the next 15 minutes to the person intended for healing or strengthening their body, mind, emotions, or spirit. The energy is being sent to the extent that they can handle, and as their ability to handle it changes, the energy level will change accordingly. The energy will continue to flow for 30 minutes after they arise, and the last 10 minutes will be integrative Reiki.
And you guys did that one.
We created this one.
So here's a question for you.
And it will work for you. There's a copy of it for you.
Thank you. We should put this up on there. We should put this up under, like, Jeremiah, we should put this on there so people can see this one since it's not in the book. So here's my question, Dave.
I can
you want it?
I can,
if it's okay, okay with you, I can scan that and put it up on our files on the page.
I don't own any of this stuff. I'm a steward bringing knowledge forward, and that's it.
Just a conduit, Dave?
Yes, I'm a conduit.
There's just a conduit. So here's my question for you about this. So if this is an intelligent, so the Reiki Crystal Awakening, Mikao Usui's Reiki Crystal Awakening from the new Reiki software for the Divine Living. So I love saying that, by the way. If it's intelligent, your own personal Reiki crystal, it's intelligent, and you can flat out say, I invite my Reiki crystal to perform treatment number whatever. Could it be possible that instead of actually saying a number, you were to just open-ended say, I invite my Reiki crystal to perform whatever treatment my body is needing?
You could, but that's kind of vague. To get more specific would be better.
So the intention needs to be a little bit more specific.
Let's say your back hurts.
Okay.
Just right quick, we had just a real quick question. All of this is we're still pretty well in the first book with all this, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Most of this is from the first book. When we start talking about holograms and portals and lasers and cords, those are in the second book.
I'm picturing, literally, like when you said cord, I'm picturing I'm floating, I'm kind of levitating, I'm floating, and I have literally like a metallic silver cord attached to the ground.
Well, let's say you're having breathing problems.
Okay.
And that's both lungs, right?
Okay.
So you imagine a small laser beam of Reiki light going from your left shoulder to your right lung, and another one going from your right shoulder to your left lung, crossing. And those are then tied together across the shoulders and across from lung to lung with Reiki cords to hold them in place.
Oh, wow. Okay.
You can create a web throughout your entire body using the lasers and cords.
Wow. Okay.
And go from there. I like holograms. And again, holograms, they introduce the concept in the first book. They go to a full chapter in the second book with holograms. Your shoulder hurts. So you imagine, you picture in your head your shoulder in a perfect state of health.
Okay.
And
like you did with me the other day.
Right.
And me.
And that's exactly what I pictured. Your shoulder in a perfect state of health, and then infused that picture, which was a hologram of Reiki light, into your physical shoulder, and let it do its thing.
And it did.
And it did its thing.
And then the second time, I did that and did hands-on, and that magnifies it.
Right.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
God, that's
So
amazing.
you can create Reiki holograms of sacred sites.
I have to say this, Dave, because it actually kind of surprises me. This is a little bit off topic of where we're at now and everything. I just that triggered this thought in my mind, but I have to say it surprises me a little bit to hear you say that you don't actually feel the energy move and whatnot because of the way when you were manipulating the energy in my shoulder the other day.
Yeah.
You went straight to my neck. I didn't even say anything about my neck.
Just felt right to do.
Until you put your hand on my neck and you said, "Oh."
Yeah, it felt right to do.
Yeah.
There was a knowing that went with it. It wasn't feeling an energy for it. It was a knowing.
That's really interesting. Really interesting to me.
I think I tend to be claircognizant.
So, talking about what you're talking about right now. So, there's been times that, like, with Jeremiah, like, he'll just be like, my back's hurting or something's hurting, whatever. And I'll just literally, like, close my eyes and just, not even touching him, just run my hands, like, on his back. And I can sense where it's hurting. Remember that?
Yeah.
Like, the one time or whatever?
Yep.
I did pretty good with it. I only missed, like, one little spot? Or something out of a bunch of places.
Well, you didn't really miss anything. It just, was, yeah, I mean, if I remember correctly, you kind of picked up on everything. You just, the what you tried to pick out as the most painful spot was almost there, but not quite.
Yeah.
But you still did really good on actually sensing or whatever it was that you were doing.
I don't know what I was doing, but I just was like.
But it worked.
Shannon's telling on you over here, David. She says you have abilities that you don't quite realize. Sorry, honey.
Thank you, dear.
Oh yeah, Jessica Douglas. That's like that's interesting. Did you read what Jessica said?
I was just reading it.
She's talking about she's not sure about it, and she looked it up, and it's kind of like, because she said the infinity symbol was what she was visualizing in her third eye when she was becoming attuned. And
that's fine.
And then Dagas, it kind of looks like the infinity symbol.
Yes,
it's a little more rigid, but it's still
it's more
really
angular.
Interesting.
But yeah,
Jessica, that's really interesting.
And even in interpretation and translation, a lot of times it with certain aspects and angles of its interpretation, it can be compared to the infinity symbol in ways.
Well, yeah, the endings and beginnings, and just the continual one or the other. It never ends, like energy.
So let's bring up the concept of Reiki portals. Okay. So there is, in most forms of Reiki, there is a symbol that is a distance symbol. It's designed for sending Reiki over a distance. Honshaze Shonen.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, I just said it fast on purpose.
Oh, you're all right.
But you can connect the energy of a room with that of an avatar. Jesus, Buddha,
The Pope.
Amma, and then notice an energy shift happening. You can connect it with a Reiki hologram in your mind of a sacred site, like, say, the Temple of Stonehenge, the Temple of Angkor Wat.
Wow.
Now imagine if you had 4 of those sacred sites in your head,
Okay.
and on each wall of the room you were in, you placed a Reiki hologram of one of those sites on each wall. And then on the floor, you created a Reiki hologram or a Reiki portal connecting to whichever avatar, Jesus or whoever you wanted. And on the ceiling, you connected to just simply the divine energy.
That sounds some powerful
And then
shit, Dave.
sit in the middle of that.
Oh my God.
What kind of healing could go on there with that?
Talk about a sacred space.
So one of the things that I'm hoping to do as we do this is to, I mean, it sounds kind of weird. It doesn't really, the term doesn't fit with Reiki. But I want to create a Reiki army.
That'd be so fucking awesome.
The idea, Reiki is a great tool for use in healing the land. It's a great tool for use in healing others. And I would really love to see a lot of people using it to work on healing the land. Now, here's the cool thing. You get about 10 or 12 people together, each attuned to the Reiki crystal. You can create Reiki cords tying all of those Reiki crystals together, creating a web.
Imagine the distance
of Reiki crystals, and then using that to send out a healing for the land.
Talk about a massive, like, spider web looking thing.
Now, what if you could get 100 people?
Well, and everybody scatters and it becomes massive. It becomes massive.
Exactly.
You know, it's like it's unlimited, the possibility.
Every copy of the book has got its own Reiki crystal. Every copy of the Psychic Reiki book has got its own Reiki crystal. Oh, wait a minute. If it's got its own Reiki crystal too, couldn't you place the books in various places and make a web with your own Reiki crystal and the crystals in the books, and then direct the energy yourself? See what I mean by say play? Just try stuff.
See, I think that he knew exactly what he was doing when he attuned every one of these books, because every one of these books has its own Reiki crystal, and people all over have bought these books, and they're everywhere.
Yeah.
You know, and you read to chapter 3 and you become attuned. Or everybody who's watched this became attuned when
just
read it. I mean, that might be one of those moments where anybody that's watching this might have to rewatch it. You know what I mean? Like, rewatch it to be like, wait a minute, what just happened?
Here's the cool thing. The people that just went through it, if they go back tomorrow and watch it again, they'll feel the energy again. The energy is going to be saved in the file of this podcast.
Right.
If somebody that did not watch it this first time watches it tomorrow, they'll get attuned.
Right.
Everybody that's on here should share this, because as many people that can become attuned as possible, that's the goal. I mean, as many people as possible. An army.
Yeah.
Reiki army. You know?
I'm not really anybody special.
Oh, yes, you are.
I mean, in my own head.
Your wife would agree. You are a very special person.
I'm just somebody that's trying to help heal the planet. And I'm doing I'm doing my part. I mean, everybody can do different things. You know, some people can only do one little teeny thing, but they're doing something.
It's better than nothing.
And some people can do more. I'm going to do what I can.
Right. That's amazing, though.
Shannon says, this is how trees help each other. We can learn from the trees, too.
That's interesting.
Yeah, that's true. trees communicate with each other. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm picturing the movie The Happening.
Never saw it.
Oh, don't see it.
I'm not.
Don't see it.
I don't watch horror movies,
Okay.
so.
Anyways, back to the trees. Yeah, well, she's right. And you're right.
I guess my point is, this isn't mine. I'm bringing forth something to more people that was brought forth to me by somebody else. I'm just passing it on.
Well, it's like that. Jeremiah, remember that Facebook thing that I shared, and it was I can't remember what the thing said, but it was like one person was yellow and smiling, and then the rest of the people were like taupe colored, and then the one person affected.
This is how you spread your light.
Yes.
That was the
Was that what
entirety
it
of the
said?
text.
I couldn't remember.
This
what it
is
said,
how
but
you
it
spread
was,
your light.
Yeah, and it one person affected like the surrounding people, and then those people affected the surrounding people to them, and it just went from one person. It just takes one person. And the influence you can have.
It's like spreading a smile.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. I smile a lot.
I've seen a meme on Facebook about the spreading of smiles.
Oh, yeah?
Recently, yeah, a couple of times I've seen it. And it was kind of cool. Meditation. If you're someone who meditates, you can meditate with the Reiki crystal. And there are meditations listed in the book.
Everybody needs to go out and get this book.
Okay, here we go. Reiki meditation number 14. Mikao Sui's Reiki Crystal of Awakening is shedding greed from your consciousness. Number 15 is shedding hate from your consciousness. Use that as a meditation. Is activating courage in your consciousness. Is activating hope in your consciousness.
That's amazing.
Things like that are in there. Then there are affirmations, Reiki affirmations in here.
Ooh.
I deeply love and appreciate any positive sentence said 3 times becomes an affirmation.
Man, I do affirmations constantly throughout the day. Like constantly, and I found, speaking of affirmations, not just for myself, but if I've learned, like if I see somebody and they look like they're kind of bummed or whatever, if I'm just like, you know what, that color looks really great on you, they'll just like smile, like instantly. It's like, hey. And I've learned, like with affirmations, the more you do it, the more it becomes like the norm, and the more people recognize that, wait a minute, there's something wrong with her. She's always in a good mood. Well, why do you think that is?
So, hopefully this gives people some ideas of things that they can try. And can you do this stuff if you were already Reiki attuned to a Sui or Sesshin? Can you do a lot of this stuff using that? Sure. But with your Reiki crystal, why would you?
See,
because you don't have to know symbols.
See, and I don't know anything about symbols at all.
It's all intention.
The only thing I know is this book. This being attuned to the Reiki crystal with this book. I've heard of, Reiki classes and stuff like that you learn, the symbols and the hand motions and all that stuff. I don't know anything about any of that. All I know is what I've learned in this book that you gave me. And all I know is that one of the first times that Dave was around Jeremiah and I, we were at one of the fairs, and he noticed, I don't sit well. I don't sit still very well. I get really antsy sitting still, and so that doesn't surprise you, does it, Jeremiah?
Nope.
And so,
not a bit.
And so he came over, and he was like, okay, turn around or whatever. And so I was facing in front of him, and he just, I don't even think you actually touched me. I think you just did this thing, and I literally, he's like, okay, what do you feel? And I literally felt like I was being pushed into the ground.
I had my hands on your shoulders.
That's right. You had your hands on my shoulders, but he wasn't applying any pressure. And I literally
just
felt
resting.
I literally felt like you were pushing me down into the ground, and then you flipped it around, and then you changed it, and then I literally felt like you were about to literally physically lift me off of the ground. But you weren't moving your hands, you weren't applying any pressure whatsoever. But it's just amazing how Reiki or grounding somebody or any of that, you physically feel it and it's just through energy, like nothing more. It's just through. Let's see. I think I'm gonna. Hey, there you go.
We'll see if it works.
Hey, you know what? Probably will.
I have you guys back for the time being. We'll see how long it lasts.
Has there been a lot of issues?
Well, it's just the camera keeps freezing up, and I've never had this kind of issue with it before, so I don't know how else to explain it.
Damn you, Dave!
I don't normally have trouble with tech.
That's so weird.
We've had problem after problem after problem. Anytime anyone with any kind of energy-based shit comes on here,
It's true.
we've had problems. The only one that we haven't had problems with was Amber Edwards.
Yeah.
So
it's the other residents here that are causing
it
the
very
problem.
well could be. It very well could be.
When you came in our apartment, out of curiosity, when you came in our place, do you feel like there's anybody else here?
I didn't when I first came in, but
that's probably because we have a whole bunch of children and they were all being loud. And
there's somebody in this room.
There is somebody
right
in
now.
this room. There is somebody in this
and
room.
it ain't the three of us.
No, it's not. Do you pick up on the sense of it's like a younger person or older person or anything like specific like that, or is that more Shannon?
Shannon would be more toward that than I would be.
I would be curious what she would say. I would be curious what she would say.
Lena says, because I'm watching.
It's because of Lena, honey.
And she says she didn't watch Amber.
We don't have any. Wow. Lena, what are we going to do with you?
It feels male.
Okay.
I feel it here.
In your throat chakra?
Uh-huh. That's where I feel it the most, is here. Just Reiki the crap out of it. Pardon my French.
Oh, you could say worse. You're good. You're good. I was just curious because, we've had a few different things coexist with us at different times. And, Jeremiah, now that I think about it, what reading was it? Was it... Oh, it was that guy, Dean, at Park City. And he said he warned me about that. He said there is a male entity. He said, I feel like where you guys live, it's kind of like connected to a few different ones. And I'm like, yep. And he said it likes to move through them. And he's like, just tell it that, do not come in here. He said, ask your angels to, say, I don't want.
Go into the book.
Mm-hmm.
The Reiki sphere of divine grace, which they talk about in the first book.
Okay.
Start that up just at the edge of your personal space, and then expand it out with the intention that nothing that doesn't belong is allowed inside the sphere, and then expand it to work on filling a room, then pushing it into all the corners of the room, so it's like a plastic bubble that can fill something. I don't know, worth a shot.
Lena said, trust the first thoughts always. He isn't harmful, mid-30s.
So I was right on the male part.
Yeah, that's interesting.
There are others here, but I have noticed.
She said he's been there for a long time. Lena, are you referring to one of my guides? Is that who you're referring to? Oh, the name of the books, please. So
the first one is New Reiki Software for Divine Living. The author is Brett, B-R-E-T-T, Bevell, B-E-V-E-L-L. The second book is called Psychic Reiki, and it's the same author.
Elaine. I
And
think that was Elaine. That
Amazon has them both. I think I have found them also at half-price books for about $11 or $12 a piece.
It's worth every penny, man.
I will.
We'll put a link on your page.
I'll put links up in the video description after we're done. I'll put links up both to Dave's page. It's all about the energy on Facebook, and I will also put up Amazon links to the 2 books.
Yeah, they're both on there. I got this one from there just last week.
Mm-hmm.
I'd lost my first copy of it, and it's in the house somewhere. But
you know, I have to tell you, Dave. So when we were at
come on,
Jessica tuned in. Hi, Jessica.
She's been on for a while. She just must have just blinked out or something.
I know that. I've been reading what she's had to say. I just get all excited when a green thing pops up. You know what I mean? Like, oh,
yes,
somebody
Lena,
new.
You're right.
Somebody new. David needs to trust himself more. Oh, yeah, Lena did say yeah. I'm assuming the yeah was to when I asked if it was the same spirit guide. Because remember, she told me a long time ago.
Shannon says there's also a woman there.
Yep. There's a few. There's a few. Oh, come on.
Shannon is the woman, older lady or younger lady? Just out of curiosity. What do you pick up on?
An iguana?
An iguana? What?
I love it. That's great. So there's all kinds of stuff going on tonight during this podcast. That's cool.
Maybe you're a reptilian alien, Dave. Maybe that's.
I don't think so.
No.
I don't think so. I can't make my eyes blink sideways.
Oh no, it freaked me out so bad picturing Men in Black. Remember the Men in Black, the original one? Where
with a double set of nictating eyelids.
Yes. That is the coolest dude in the world. This guy right here, Shannon, Shannon Chaplin Ches. I don't know. Welcome, Shannon. I'm glad you're watching.
Thank you.
And yeah, Shannon said an older woman. Well, that's probably Mima. Mima has presented herself from the day Sophie was born. Mima is Jeremiah's grandma, and she's always hanging around, always. And she's one of Sophie. Like we have no doubt, she's one of Sophie's guides. You know, yeah, Dave, this has been amazing, and I really want to thank you for coming on and doing this for anybody who is willing to. You know, and it's kind of like you drop that little nuke in their brain and you attune them, and then basement by the furnace. Mostly resides in the basement by the. So that'd be downstairs.
By the furnace.
Yes, yeah. Lena said a guide for Sophie. Well, that would make sense because all kinds of shit is always going on down there, all the time. But Sorry, I got really sidetracked for the moment. I completely lost my train of thought.
There's a bit of a lag before comments come through.
Yeah.
But
yeah. There's about all grand total, there's about a 22-second lag from the time it happens here to the time it hits either Facebook or YouTube and goes out to whoever's watching. So
I guess the question I have is, does anybody have any questions?
Yes. Does anybody have any questions? Yes. Thank you.
My question is...
Thank you.
Does anyone have any questions? Crossroads Metaphysical Fair this coming weekend.
Yes.
In Oklahoma City.
We will be there.
Stephanie and Jeremiah will be there with a booth. I will be there volunteering.
Dave will be there.
And I think...
Cross your fingers.
I'm not sure, but I think that Serafina is going to have me do a workshop on the Reiki crystal.
Cool.
And I will have the books there with me. So if you come to even if I'm not doing a workshop, if you find me there and I'm Colonel Sanders' hippie brother, then I would be glad to talk with you about the books and answer any questions or anything like that.
Colonel Sam. Oh, it just died. My phone just died.
Thanks, Dave. This has been. Oh, okay. You're welcome, Nicole.
She's amazing. Like you guys will inevitably, like maybe at the next Casey Meta.
Didn't you guys meet in Lawrence Or did
I think they missed. They
Oh, that's
they
right.
Missed.
Yeah,
they missed
yeah.
each
But-
other.
I will be at Casey Meta in November. I will be the volunteer there wearing tie-dye, so I'm hard to miss. At the
yes.
Casey Metaphysical Fair, I always wear tie-dye.
And
I love
Oh,
that.
and yes, and my wife Shannon will be reading as Insightful Sequoia at the Crossroads Metaphysical Fair also. She reads Lenormand cards and I'm prejudiced, but she's awesome.
I can speak from personal experience when she did that reading for me. She was spot on, Dave. Everything she said, because she did a 5-card spread. There's 5 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And it was spot on. I don't want to go into detail of what she talked about because it was kind of personal, but it was spot on what she talked about. Anybody who, please go to, we need to share her page too, Jeremiah.
Okay, yeah, I'll put Shannon's
she
up in the
is-
video description.
You guys are going to
too.
have her on a podcast sometime
Yeah.
soon,
Yes.
I hope.
Yeah, we are. I think it'd be really cool, which I don't know if Shannon would be open to this. I want to have somebody on here that's like a medium or whatever, and so somebody could actually like call in and ask some questions. I think that would be so cool to do. Like, you know what I mean, like
And
live.
you
or
talk to
whatever.
her about it. I'm not
Yeah.
going to speak for her at all.
Well, no, and even if she didn't feel comfortable doing it, like somebody at some
Lena.
point. Because remember, we have the spiritual intervention. Lena has to be present. That's just all there is
Right,
to it. She's
right.
gonna have to come down here.
I shot some messages out today and got the ball rolling on, or hopefully got the ball rolling on something to do for that, by the way.
Oh, really?
So,
Well,
yeah.
that's exciting.
Yeah.
That's exciting. So, Dave, okay, here, I have a question for you. So, anybody who you would meet that would be totally skeptical, like, oh, that's a bunch of crap. It doesn't work. It's a bunch of crap. How can you believe that? What would you tell somebody who might be watching that's real skeptical of, I don't know about all that?
Well, the first thing that comes to my head, and it's probably not the real answer that I would actually give, is try it. You'll like it. But it's when you think of the scientific explanation I had earlier,
Yep.
and most people will admit that there are more things out there in the world than what we understand.
Then our 5 senses allow.
And that our 5 cents, well, and we don't even see the entire light spectrum. Dogs see more of the light spectrum than we do. Dogs
Right.
hear
Do cats?
sound spectrum, sound stuff that we don't hear. Cats too, yes.
Well, that would make sense why cats always can sense death coming.
You
right?
know, so if I'm sorry, I just the black robe and the scythe pictured him. I'm here to take you away. It's if there are all these things that we don't understand out there, then who's to say? Who really is to say that it's not real? That it
Right.
doesn't work? You know, maybe it's not something that is for your specific path, and that's fine. For me, and I'm speaking only for myself, Christianity is not my specific path.
Right.
What's not for everybody?
And exactly.
It's not for everybody.
It's not for everybody. And how can you prove it too?
Right.
Same thing. For any of those, how can you prove any of it? You know,
Well,
so for a skeptic, are you skeptical about everything? There's got to be something you believe in.
Right.
well, so
You believe in that? No, I don't believe that. I'm skeptical about that.
So let me go on an example. Perfect example. So anybody that I have ever talked to, and they think witchcraft is evil and witchcraft is terrible, and you worship the devil and all this stuff, I simply say, okay, have you ever had a birthday party and you put candles on your cake and you light the candles and then you close your eyes, you make a wish, and then you blow out the candles? Well, yeah. Okay, well, there you
That's
go.
witchcraft.
That's witchcraft.
Yeah.
Like, in the simplest form.
Yeah.
And anybody that I've said that to, they're like, oh. You know,
Yeah,
it's like,
it kind of shuts them up, doesn't it?
It does, because
Yeah.
it's like, you know, people just, yeah, I get so, people, I wish more people that are Christian, I wish more of them were actually not judgmental, and accepting. And I'm not going to call out any names on here, but there is somebody watching who is what I would consider the example of what people who claim to be Christian should be.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say names, but you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
She knows who I'm talking about. You know what I mean, though?
I think I know who you're talking about.
I think you probably do. But just out of respect, I don't want to,
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my basic. So one of my all-time favorite movie that changed my life, as I like to put it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's seriously the reason Sophie is named Sophie. It's the very first moment that I ever heard of the whole 11:11 time thing. Okay, anybody who's not familiar with the 11:11 time thing should check that out because it's quite fascinating.
Right.
But I say, this movie changed my life. Well, there's a scene in this movie, and it was so simple, but it was so oh my God, I hadn't thought about it that way. So there's this scene where this guy is trying to prove the different phases of evolution with this worm, okay? And this particular little worm. Well, the girl comes in, sorry, I'm going to butcher this scene, but I have a point to it, okay? The girl comes in and she's like, so these worms can't see, why are you trying to alter their genes so they can see? And he goes, well, we proved that they have the gene, they just don't have the sense of sight yet. So it's it's there, but it hasn't developed an eyeball yet, or whatever to see with or sense with or whatever. So then she's like, well, so why would you want to do that? Why are you trying to disprove God? And he's like, well, whoever proved that God was there in the first place? And I was like, oh, well, that's kind of interesting to think about, but that's not where I'm going with it. So she's sitting there and she's like, so this worm, how many senses does it have? And he's like, 2 senses. And she's like, oh, okay, so light's not one of them. And he's like, no. So she's like, so this worm, so you and I have 5 senses. We know light is all around us. We can see it. We can sense light. And this worm has no clue that light is all around it. It doesn't have the sense for it. And she goes in to talk about how, to the worm, the concept of light is inconceivable. That's crazy. What are you talking about? But to us, we know it exists because we have the sense for it. So then she was talking about how she believes some people have a spirit sense that not everybody has that can pick up. So it's okay, if the worm has 2 senses, we have 5 senses. You can't tell me that there's other beings and other things out there that have more than 5 senses, that there are other things that are going on all around us constantly that we just can't pick up on because we don't have the sense for it. That's where I was going with all that. But I just, that's the greatest movie ever. Origins, I'll plug it. Is that what you call it? You plug something?
Yeah.
Is that what you call that? Yeah, Origins. Greatest movie. I love that. Have you seen that movie?
Nope.
You need to. But that is why Sophie is named Sophie, because of that movie. And it's a great movie. But
so, did any questions come through?
I don't know. We can't.
I'm not seeing any.
My kind of person. Let's see.
Looking behind.
The energy
So
is
Jessica says she's a lurker.
A lurker?
Yeah, she's always lurking behind the scenes.
Sounds like, what is it, Hephaestus? Your Greek archetype, honey.
I think we are going to end up having to. I'm not seeing any questions, but I think we are going to end up having to stretch it out an hour and a half. The show.
Yeah, one of them said thank you for
not stopping it
at 8:30. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
what time is it?
It is 8:45.
What the hell?
Yeah. Hour and 15 minutes.
Time is such. Sorry, kid just opened the door. I'm giving him the evil eye, what do you want?
And
there's Sophie.
Yeah.
Time is such a funny thing because it's when you don't even think about it, it goes so fast.
Well, you've heard me say this before.
Mm-hmm.